30 days of night. In 30 days of night, the vampires don't stalk castles or flirt in nightclubs. They descend on Barrow, Alaska, a town about to enter a full month without sunlight. There's no warning, no dramatic transformation, no slow seduction. They come with the snow, a pack of feral ancient creatures with jet black eyes, shark-like teeth, and a language that sounds like bone scraping on metal. They don't turn you. They don't save you for later. They gut, tear, and feast like animals that haven't eaten in years. These vampires are pure biology, optimized to kill. Needle-sharp fangs designed not to pierce, but to shred. Talons that rip through Kevlar. Jaws that unhinge mid-scream. But their hunger isn't their scariest trait. It's their planning. Before the feeding begins, they cut the power. Burn the cell towers, destroy the airport. They don't want you to run. They want you contained. Barrow becomes a slaughterhouse buried under ice. And the people inside aren't victims. They're livestock. These vampires don't see humans as enemies. They see us the way wolves see deer. Fast moving, frightened, but ultimately doomed. And when their leader speaks just once, it's not to threaten. It's to remind the survivors of a brutal truth. We are still out there. You just forgot. In this universe, there are no vampire hunters. No chosen one. Just cold, snow, and teeth. Blade. Blade is not a hero. He's a vampire with a kill count in the thousands, and all of them were his own kind. Born from a mother bitten while pregnant, Blade walks in daylight, heals like a monster, and fights like a machine. Vampires call him the Daywalker. Half human, half vampire, zero mercy. He doesn't drink blood. He suppresses the urge through chemicals and sheer will. And when the thirst kicks in, he doesn't lose control. He focuses. Armed with silver stakes, UV grenades, and a sword that cuts through immortality, Blade doesn't just survive in a world ruled by vampires. He slaughters his way through it. These aren't romantic kills. No slow-motion brooding. Blade fights like he's cleaning up a mess, and he's done being polite. The deadliest part? He's not hunting for revenge. He's hunting for balance. And vampires, they tip the scale. Dracula. Dracula isn't just the first vampire. He is the blueprint. In this universe, he doesn't sparkle, brood, or beg for love. He waits. Behind walls of stone. Behind old soil. Behind centuries of myth designed to make you forget how dangerous he really is. Dracula doesn't hunt in alleys. He moves across continents. He arrives by ship, surrounded by rats and plague, feeding silently as entire cities rot from within. He's more than immortal. He's ancient strategy with a thirst. He can shapeshift, control minds, and vanish into mist. But his real weapon? Time. He's waited through empires, through languages, through religions. And when he decides to strike, he doesn't take your blood. He takes your will. Dracula isn't a villain of passion. He's a god of decay. And gods don't die. They hibernate. David, the Lost Boys. On the California coast, the sun sets, and then they come out. David and his crew aren't hiding in the shadows. They're laughing in the open. Leather jackets, sunglasses at night, and the kind of grin that says, "You're already dead." They don't want to kill you. They want to pull you in, into their cave, their rituals, their family. Until one day you're eating maggots instead of rice and thinking it's funny. These vampires don't seduce with poetry. They seduce with adrenaline. You're not bitten, you're initiated. And once you're part of David's gang, the thrill never stops. Until the sun rises and you realise you haven't been human in weeks. The Lost Boys aren't just undead. They're a warning. Because the scariest vampires aren't the ones hiding in the dark. They're the ones who make you laugh while you become one. Edward, Twilight. Edward Cullen doesn't need to hunt you. You'll come to him. In Twilight, he walks through high school hallways like a ghost, pale, perfect, unreadable. He doesn't drink human blood. He says he's one of the good ones. But make no mistake, he is still a predator. He can read your mind, track your scent across miles, move faster than the eye can follow. And if you fall in love with him, you don't become stronger, you become his, frozen in time, trapped in a body that never ages, watching the world crumble while he watches you. The horror of Edward Cullen isn't the violence, it's the control. He's what happens when a vampire doesn't need to bite. He just needs you to say yes. Vampire Diaries. In the Vampire Diaries, vampires don't stalk the night. They move through it like royalty. Damon, Stefan, Klaus, Elijah. They don't need to chase you. You'll fall in love with them first. These aren't mindless beasts. They're centuries-old tacticians who've perfected the art of looking broken. Just enough for you to try and fix them. But when the fangs come out, there is no mercy. They compel your thoughts, rewrite your memories, rip your heart out, literally, if it serves their cause. And then they'll mourn you like they cared. The real horror of the Vampire Diaries isn't the bloodshed. It's how easily you forgive it. Because these vampires aren't hiding, they're being invited in. Alucard, Hellsing. Alucard has lived for centuries, killed armies, toppled empires. But ask him what he wants. He wants to die. Alucard is invincible, yes. He regenerates from dust, commands the souls of the damned, and shoots silver like a war god. But beneath all the power is something far worse. Regret. He's not a monster because he drinks blood. He's a monster because he's lost the meaning of killing. And yet, when he's unleashed, there's no stopping him. Cities fall. Armies vanish. The battlefield becomes a mausoleum. He doesn't conquer. He cleanses. Not for glory. Not for justice. Just to remember what fear feels like. Selene, Underworld. Selene was turned into a vampire against her will. Her family was slaughtered. Her loyalty was engineered. Then they trained her to kill. Not enemies, her own kind. In Underworld, Selene doesn't sparkle or seduce. She moves like a shadow, fights like a machine, and bleeds like she's already dead inside. But the deeper you go, the more you realize she isn't a warrior. She's a weapon. Created, deployed, lied to. And when she finds out the truth, she doesn't weep. She burns everything down. Hybrid blood, corrupted empires, ancient betrayals. None of it matters. Because Selene has one mission now, to destroy the world that made her a monster.